If you use polling averages, Clinton is close to 90% support among Democrats, whereas Donald Trump is a little over 80% with Republicans. He needs to get that number up. Who's he missing? We already know. He's missing the moderate conservatives. He's missing the independents who lean Republican. They still believe he's unqualified to be president and does not have the temperament to be president. That is Donald Trump's challenge. And I don't think yesterday proved anything to them. He's going to have to try and do that in the debates.
Oh, speaking of the debates,
I can't wait.
Kat can't wait for that. But Larry, let's talk right now about your electoral vote predictions. You predict that the swing states of Florida, Iowa, Pennsylvania, even Wisconsin could lead Democrat. Do you think independent voters, as we had just looked at the polling there, could change that?
Well, I'll tell you where Clinton is weakest on that map, even though she has those states leaning to her. She's weakest in Iowa, Nevada, in Florida. And I suppose you could throw Ohio in, though I haven't seen much to make me question that it's leaning to Clinton. But those states are obviously critical states. And if we see states switch, I think those would be the first to switch.
Nevada, how is she weak in that state, Larry, particularly with the large Latino voting population there?
Well, you have to look at the other side of the equation, not just Latinos, but also white registered voters there. Nevada has been through perhaps the worst recession of the 50 states, or certainly one of the few that are in that category. And because of that, because it's taken so long for Nevada to recover, there's a lot more feeling for change. There's a lot more desire for change. So I think that's really at the heart of it. And also, you have to look at the population of college-educated voters, and it's relatively low there versus some other states.
But you know what could change everything, Kat, is the debate.
I know.
I know you can't wait to talk about that.
I really can't
the first
wait.
Debate.
Hillary, I mean, polls can say one thing, but the head-to-head, she can talk about him and say, oh, he's mean, in her own speeches that have been written and prepared by somebody else. But when they're face-to-face and she's forced to handle Donald Trump, never knowing what he's going to say or do, I'm really going to be interested to see how that affects things.
And Larry, how have the debates affected the outcome in November? Is there one political season or one election year that it changed everything?
Well, I'd cite 1960 when they started between Kennedy and Nixon. Nixon probably would have been president in 1960 without the 4 televised debates. You can argue that a debate cost Gerald Ford a 4-year term in 1976 when he made a goof during one of the debates and then kind of refused to correct it for about 10 days, which is never a wise thing. But I got to tell you, recently, because we're more used to debates and the candidates are trained so much more thoroughly for the debates, you don't see that kind of thing very often. We live in a very polarized era, and so Democrats tune in to cheer for their team, and Republicans tune in to cheer for their team, and you actually have just a handful of truly undecided voters watching a debate.